we are in different generations.
Okay.
As generations come and pass, we should be looking at a more modern way of getting our countries run and so forth. Previously in Ghana, our tradition, and for that matter in Africa here, we have always said that Sebi Openi Ewofiana Openi or Sanyansa and I say Bibisa. So it's like most of the time we think it's the grown-ups who have that kind of wisdom to be able to sort of.
In fact, we had a member of parliament who has said that these young boys with a beard, there's no sense in their head.
Exactly. So they think it's the grown-ups. But to me, reducing it to 35 years, it doesn't even make any difference. It's just about some 5 years in reduction. To me, even if it's brought to about, say, 25 years, I will not have any problem with that. The point I'm trying to make is that in governance, we are looking at people who have the wisdom, people who have the capacity to be able to take the whole country, about 35 million people on our shoulders, and then dream about taking the country forward. So if it's a young guy who we all think he has the charisma and the ability to have that capacity to do that, I will not have any problem with that, because you are going to offer yourself. You are going to tell us what you can do, and we can also assess you whether you have that kind of capacity to be able to deliver on about the 35 million people we are talking about. So if there's a reduction, I don't have any problem with it as it is now. Maybe I would have gone with the 30 years that was proposed.
Oh, even lower.
Yeah, I would have gone with the 30 years.
But as Prof had proposed earlier on, a need of having a quality leader. Do you think, let's say already at 30 years, we can have, because that quality leaders will come with experience, will come with knowledge, it will come with even understanding the systems. Currently in Ghana, generally, you would finish your university education around 25-ish, 26. If you're going to be employed, maybe around 28, 29. Do you think the person have gotten that wherewithal to lead the entire, because it's easy, let's say, leading a small institution, but leading the entire country is also a different ball game. Do you think that 30, 35-year-old will have that rich experience?
You see, it's a choice that Ghanaians are going to make. This is not like the traditional system where a chief is installed maybe in this useful age, and the people accept the tradition to let the person continue the reign of maybe his fathers. And it's an acceptable process that we all have as far as chieftaincy is concerned. And in that case, even those children or those younger ones are groomed up. They are groomed up to take up that responsibility. So if in our body politics we have situations where people are groomed, most of these politics, when you look at the world, is people whose parents and fathers have been in politics. When you take the Gandhis and those other people, where their children have also learned what their fathers have done, and then the people see the kind of capacity that are in them, they can be propelled to lead the nation. At the end, we have to decide. So when you put 2-3 people there for elections to be held, of course, the people will look at who has that capacity to be able to take the country forward. So in that case, I don't have the problem. But once it is not the one that can be imposed on us, it's not like military takeovers where even the person can be 20 years or 25 years and he assumes the reins of the country. It's not like that. In democracy, it is the capacity.
If he can convince us,
yes,
there's nothing wrong.
Of course. And we will have a choice too, because it wouldn't be one person who will be put there. definitely other parties will also put other people there, and then we weigh who will be able to really carry the 35 million people along.
Okay.
So in that case, I don't have a problem with
The
that.
Prof does not seem to agree entirely with your reasoning, but Prof wanted. I mean, I'm just prejudging just based on official expression. But shouldn't you also try the other? We've tried all the old men. Shouldn't you also try the other side to see maybe there's a value that the young people may bring that we haven't gotten from all the supposed old men we have seen in our body politic at the presidency level?
You're right. You see, these days I am very careful even when I meet the young people because they are smarter than me.
True.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
What they know, I don't.
Yeah.
They've been exposed so much.
Especially with technology.
Exactly. So I admire them. At my age, I can't go back to learn what they know, you know. So I have deep respect for them, you know.
Yeah.
But I will always make a distinction between ruling your small village or your office to ruling the 35 million, as my brother said, when you have a country with such diversities existing in a global world with many diversities and many forces. It's not a child's play. So whilst I admire the younger people, there's one thing that I bring into the conversation, which is what I call exposure. You see, you can be in Ghana all your life and get your PhD in Ghana without stepping out of the border.
Yeah.
And maybe today things are different because of technology. You can also be here and be exposed to so many things.
Yeah.
Other than that, I will say if you stay in Ghana alone, you won't be getting the exposure that will give you the global perspectives, because if you're president, you're going to relate to the whole world.
Yes.
So for me, it's important that whoever wants to be president has that exposure.
Okay.
One of the reasons why people were arguing strongly for a much lower age than even the 30, or because in recent times, countries like Norway and some Scandinavian countries were having people who are elected to be prime minister for 28, 30.
Yeah.
So that became attractive to people, which I agree. The only difference is that those areas now, before you even graduate, undergrad, you've been so much exposed because they travel around the world.
Yeah.
Exchange programs,
so many things. And of course, the educational system also is better than ours, and therefore they get so much exposed.
Yeah.
So if you are smart in that society, you become mature in your early life.
Yeah.
Okay. And you made a point when you were introducing the subject. In Ghana, at times somebody's even doing his master's degree, he's staying with the parents.
Yeah.
They don't own even a bicycle. And I would be worried to get somebody who has never built a house, sweated to know how you build a house, but how to buy a bicycle, to become my president. Because what you will see is that, even to become a minister, what you see that almost immediately, they will realize that their position requires them to live a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a house, you have to buy one.
Of course.
And since you have never worked in your life and you're a minister, you're going to steal in order to buy the house.
Yeah.
See, these are basic things we have to accept.
That's true.
That's why it's part of the reason we have so much corruption in our country. Because most people, or some people I should say, go into politics without ever buying a bicycle in their lives.
They have never worked.
They've never worked. If you don't work, how do you buy a bicycle? And then become a minister. Within 5 years, what do we see? You see, so I'm very particular about the quality of people who come into leadership. Okay? Look, and not to talk about the president. So in fact, when this idea came, I remember sitting on Joy while I participated in one of the Saturday program.
Yeah,
Newsfile. And I made the argument that 30, no. But then the president hasn't come out with the white paper. So I said, no, I'll be comfortable at least 35. I'll give room for people who have done at least their masters. And I don't want, by the way, people to become president and go to school. like most of these ministers did
Ministers,
under Tamil's time.
Even currently,
We were
yes.
paying them
Currently.
their salaries with drivers and cars and houses, and they were taking public time to study for master's degree.
And even now, the popular law.
You see?
Yeah.
So that is a cheat on the public. It's our money. So if you go into public service, I expect you to devote your attention, your time, and your energy into the service that you have been assigned. See, people don't look at this. It costs you money.
But Prof, they argue that on the job too, they must train and retrain.
Yes.
There is a special training for your job. In fact, I understand that. I've worked before. On your job, there are certain on-job training.
Yeah.
That is different from you going to do law for 4 years or 5 years. It's different from you going to do masters at GIMPA for 2 years
Or
or
even
something.
PhDs.
Or PhDs. It's different. You are using public time for which you are being paid to acquire a personal benefit. Because PhD is a personal benefit.
But
Degree
the
program is
knowledge,
a personal
but the knowledge, the extra knowledge you are acquiring,
it's a different story.
it's
We can
also,
go into
it
that.
also impacts
May
on
be-
But
bring a
you
best-
should have
also
gotten
impacts.
it. You have gotten it before you came to the job, or after the job. You can go and get your personal knowledge.
But
That's
Prof,
why
if it
I'm saying
doesn't
there's a
affect
training.
his working in any way,
Yeah.
it's his
The-
personal life, because I don't think
it is
we
not
can.
personal crap per se.
I mean, I don't think we should be able
if
to-
somebody is reading law, for instance,
Yeah.
and he's a minister of state,
And
or
it's
he's an
evening
MP,
classes. There's no problem.
Maybe
yes,
a member of parliament, even, and he
basically
brings,
even-
the
even
knowledge.
class.
Parliament, you
But the good thing is that it makes an impact on the person's job.
You see, my friend,
Mm.
the thing is this. If we all go on that tangent, that kind of argument, then we are endorsing the fact that irrespective of where you are in the public service, you can go and study. And I'm making the point that your study should not be at the expense of the public purse.
Of course, that is
Right.
fine.
That's my
That is
argument.
very fine. So if it's an evening class
Pay from his own
or a
pocket.
weekend class,
Because
for
you see,
instance,
you
it's
see,
good enough.
when you go to school, you are assigned something they call assignment or homework.
Yeah.
You used to call, okay?
Yeah.
And when you are a minister or you're in an important public service, part of your job, you come home, you also think
Yeah.
and think of the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe certain conversations were not completed in the week, so you need to engage and all that. It's part of helping your job.
That's
So
correct.
be careful not to endorse wholeheartedly
Yeah.
that you can get a job as a minister or wherever and go to school full time. I think if you are not careful,
Prof's point is valid because I teach law.
Yeah.
And so I know the amount of work that goes into it. And it's some instance we've had some public servants, I'll just generic that way,
course.
who are in class, they are supposed to come Monday to Friday. By Monday, lecturer gives us assignments due the next week Monday. Tuesday, lecturer gives us due maybe the next week. So far, the whole time is taken for work.
No, but I think as far as the person has the capacity to be able to do it,
who determines the capacity?
the individual.
But you are not telling us
The
what we
individual.
are losing by you taking the public time to build your capacity. You see, the company that employs your government can say, I'm giving you this time off to do your studies. It's arranged between you
Yeah.
and your employer. I have no problem with that. But in this case, there's no agreement between the employer and the employee. They think taking that, and you go to that class with a government car filled with free petrol
Sirens.
and a siren and a driver, and it parks there, engine will run for the 2 hours you're in the classroom waiting for you to come back to air-conditioned car. You see, they are the nation records.
that is not fair.
It's very fair. Maybe you did one.
No. I'm saying that. I'm not saying that.
Let's stay
what
with
you are
Prof.
saying
I
is-
get-
It's
I'm,
very
no.
fair.
I'm saying that it won't be fair for you to use government vehicle and driver
okay.
and fuel.
But they do that.
Because certainly, most of these drivers driving public, high public officers, when you go and they park, they also don't switch off. the
Exactly.
engine. Definitely, the engine runs for the period that
And
you
we
will
pay
be
for
at
the
lecture.
petrol. The
But
taxpayer
the point
pays.
I'm trying to make is that if the person has the capacity to be able to do it, these days, and even out there,
But I
outside,
guess how you were making
You
a
are-
preventive point earlier on the dual citizenship.
Yes.
I guess that's where Prof also is coming
I
from.
agree
That
from
we
that
can't
portion
tell
that where
who
you
has the
use
yes.
where you use And all these are being done because of competition for the few top jobs, and competition even with those from out there. Everybody has to prepare himself, because jobs these days don't prepare most of their staff to climb up to the top.
Yeah.
So everybody has to find a way of developing himself. But I'm against situations where you have to use, government property, vehicles, whatever.
But Rob's point also is in context.
If it is your own private matter, and it's an evening class, it's a weekend class, I don't have a problem with that. And remember, whatever you learn from there also ends assisting and improving on the quality of.
That's true, but I guess we should take also Rob's point in context, because we've seen in some government, we've seen some people who even were schooling abroad.
Yes.
So which even meant that we're not even here.
Yes.
Maybe he's here for like a week, goes for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes, I agree.
Those are real challenges also, which I think that it makes
perspective.
Rob's point valid.
And that's why I'm saying those private things is done.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Of course.
But when it becomes normal for everybody to think because it's normal, they can blatantly abuse the public assets under his control for his personal benefit. That's corruption.
Yeah.
But you see, corruption is not the money.
Even in some banks and private banks, they don't allow their members to
go and study.
To go without steady leave, because they feel like, as Prof. Rightly mentioned, we want you to come and sit there whilst working during the day, they are doing an assignment, which will affect the employer's work.
But I mean, you know that most of these private institutions have structures.
Yes.
Even when you go to the public service and you are to be promoted to director and others, it doesn't call for master's degree.
Yeah.
It doesn't call for it.
Yeah.
But what do we see?
They are thinking of life after that.
So if the structures are clear,
right?
Because look, when I even entered public service at first, as an accounts officer, then there was no provision that said that before you become a manager, you should be a professional accountant.
Yeah.
There was no provision like that. You see? So I went into the public service with full vigor, concentration on my job, devoted all my time to learn, to do the job. By the time I climbed a little and get into the managerial level, they had introduced that you should be a professional accountant before you be moved to managerial position. And can you believe that younger guys who had chartered accountants were appointed as managers, when we, those who have gone through the process of becoming accounts officer, senior accounts officer, principal accounts officer, before you become a manager, look at the period. It should not be less than 10 years to go through that process. But because it became a new requirement that you should be a professional accountant before you become a manager, younger guys from national service who had qualified as chartered accountants were appointed as managers, when the bulk of the people
but
who
again,
have
that
gone
still
through
goes to the dysfunctionality of the system.
Exactly. So you prepare for it.
That's is the
So how do
system
you
that
prepare
did that
for
to
it?
them.
Yes.
The system making that new policy should have decided on how the existing employee will be
Someone
prepared.
care for you in the public service.
Where?
Nobody cares for you. Anytime there's a change, there's a change.
And therefore you take upon yourself to use government time. And
no, as for the government time, I've
Rob's point
spoken
is
against
actually
it.
valid.
And the point,
Yes.
I agree with
It's
him
valid.
perfectly, that you shouldn't use government time and all those
So have a minister of state
resources.
who would have schooled abroad, whilst you have your whole sector there. It means
Sector
that
minister.
people were
It's
managing
it's
it.
dangerous and
Yes.
it's
that's
criminal.
my point. Well,
Yeah.
there are
But-
some minor things we
but
can
the-
gloss
the
over.
evening-
A small guy in the civil service wanted studying to do a chartered accounting. I have no problem. See, these are minor things.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the style in the nation where people as high as deputy ministers and ministers were engaging in that blatantly. That's my concern. Because in every situation, everybody wants to improve himself or herself.
Absolutely.
I have no problem.
Absolutely.
But when it becomes the normal thing to do, that get a senior political appointment and then take the time. So you see, that tells you that people in those positions don't even have time to think about the country they are supposed to lead and help develop. They don't have the time for that. They are rather studying.
Agreed, but
But I guess what there are
Prof,
some
you see, those ones
I
are
don't know why my
political
brother does
appointments.
not agree with
Oh, no, I agree with you. But those ones are political appointments.
That's why I'm making
You
a
are
difference.
there. You are there when a green letter comes to say that somebody has been appointed as the MD of the institution, right?
But I guess
With this green letter, comes from the
Yeah.
presidency. The person gets the letter, walks into the institution, and realizes that the technocrats he is going to control are people who are at a higher learned
Yes.
positions.
so he's trying
What
to.
should he
But
do?
you see,
He
you
has
are
to
mixing
find a way.
political things with
But-
the
but
civil
public-
service things.
Yes, they are
Anyway.
together as
No, but
we
you see,
see today.
We're speaking
That
of. I
is the
think
reality.
no, see, Prof is speaking of that selfless attitude you must give to our government. That,
agree.
but you also are saying that look, think about yourself.
No, not thinking about preparing yourself. That is the way I want to put it. You have to prepare yourself. You shouldn't wait to
Right.
get to a level where the competition comes in and you are
You know,
messing up.
Let's have Prof land
Yeah,
on his point
yeah,
on
then
the
I'm finished,
35.
Yeah,
because
the
Prof, you were-
35, you see. But this issue is very important. It goes to the core
Yeah.
of some of the problems we have in our country.
Yeah.
That's why in the private sector-oriented countries, employees get fired anytime.
Yeah.
Because when I employ you, I'm paying you 20 cedis. I want to be sure you've done the job for 20 cedis.
Correct.
If I see you cheating me and spending 5 or 10 cedis out of that for your private gain, you are gone.
Correct.
So productivity is constantly there.
Exactly.
In Ghana, productivity is so low on the part of the public service
Yes.
and every other service, except a few private sectors in the country where they do what they are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do not consider productivity as important in our lives in the country. This country is not progressing because we don't have productivity, both in terms of the bureaucratic side and all sides, not to talk about the one on the ground, farmer or whatever, you see. And that's why we are constantly being drawn back. I have no problem. If all Ghanaian 33 million of us will want to have PhDs, all of us will have PhDs, then what will happen? What happened is that we're all going to speak good English, and forget that cocoyam or plantain must be planted.
life complicated.
So then we are going to import plantain and cocoyam. That's the trend now.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the
right.
trend now. Because we have made those titles so attractive in terms of money and everything.
Yeah.
You know that if you don't get it, you won't be
You will
promoted.
be promoted.
But people who are really running countries that are fast developing, they don't have PhDs and masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are people on the ground working and making money than you, the PhD guy, too.
You don't have.
So I think we need to have a new orientation, mindset, and I think President Mahama refers to resetting. The mindset should be different. So not all of us will have to rush into politics to make it in life.
Correct.
Let's make other sectors attractive.
Yes.
So that the young people can go there first
Thank
before
you.
coming to presidency.
Thank you.
Exactly.
And I'll give you one quick illustration, then I'm done. There's a young boy who worked for me at the foundation, had bachelor's in agric from Tamale UDS,
Okay.
came here and did master's at Legon, and he wanted to go abroad. We chatted about it. In the end, I said, look, make use of the practical things you know. We did agree. Farming. The boy, as I speak to you today, I won't mention it, but we can discuss it after this. First, the poultry farm. He tells me he grosses 30,000 from 1,000 birds. After he pays the 2 boys and the feeder, he grosses 30,000 cedis a month. That's
Wow.
that's the poultry 30,000 cedis gross.
Wow.
Then the farm that he has at a Fram Place,
Place.
that's a different story. And when he brings me a bunch of plantain, it's like old days Brong have.
The one that you used to chalk a car.
Exactly. And the boy is 33 years now.
Wow.
So he can be president.
Why not?
You see.
I don't, yeah, by age if he gets to 35. So I'm trying to say that that sector can be made so attractive.
Yeah.
All of us will not have to rush to become DCs, ministers, and in the end ruin the country, because in the end we don't see anything they are doing to even move this country forward. That's my point on that.
Indeed.
They are very good points. Prof.
But I guess we all do
with you.
agree on the fact that, I mean, there shouldn't be a problem with a young person, Rebecca, but at least that level of experience,
Yes.
that
Exposure,
it shouldn't be the
capacity.
person coming to the presidency to now come and coming as a career president. No,
That's right.
but should that you have that experience, that you have that vision to be able
Yes.
to transform the
I'll
country.
support you.
Yeah, that one. That is that is very good.
I'll support
that
a
is
young
very, very
person.
good.
Absolutely.
And the caveat is that we have a choice to make.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you bring a younger guy
That we don't
and we
think.
think he doesn't have the capacity, but you bring a 70-year person and we think the person has the capacity, why not?
We go for the
We
older person.
go for the older person.
But
As
what
long
we've
as
been
we have a choice.
intrigued about the 70s and of us who come for president, because I think that job is a very hard job. Like, it's physically demanding.
You see, I think governance in a country,
Yeah.
like Prof and Mary all shared those ideas, there are structures. Just that we don't have
We
those,
don't have those
structures
structures.
working.
Yeah.
If those structures are working, the president becomes some ceremonial person. And you have your NDP, you have your Shraj, you have your Yoko, you have your other institutions that are able to. Why will you have to exert so much
Yeah.
energy?
Yeah.
So that is where the problem comes from. So to summarize on most of those issues we raised, to me, we shouldn't increase the number of seats in parliament.
I agree with you.
Yes.
It's a waste of
yes,
waste
very,
of
very
public
In fact, I
funds.
think for some of these other proposals,
waste.
I think my producer has given me an indication that we may have to also have time, maybe sometime
That's
later.
beautiful.
Then we can go through them
Exactly.
and see the pros and cons
Exactly.
of them.
I think we can.
Because
we
there are
can
some
look at
that
it.
no government rejected
Yes.
that. You know, if government had reconsidered it, it was going to help.
Especially on decentralization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. We
So we'll
shouldn't-
come again.
We have to find
Thank
a
you
way
very
of
much.
freeing resources.
Yeah.
Government, the cost of running government machinery, governance in Ghana under this democracy is so huge. And those are the, as I stated earlier, those are the reasons in other countries elsewhere, and even the past that we have experienced, are reasons people give, to raise the gun to, take out our democracy. So if we are spending so much, 300 parliamentarians, we are even tired with the sirens on the street.
Yeah.
If 300 of them have to come to parliament in the morning with sirens, driving carelessly and all that because they are late to go to parliament, the minister is late to go elsewhere. And it's a good thing. And reducing this number of ministers is a good thing. When the president is going somewhere, look at the convoy. I have friends who tell me that there are some ministers who don't have much to do, so they will call the presidency to find out where the president will go the next week. Then you go and join the convoy. So if the president is going to commission a borehole, you have about 30 V8s following the government, the president to go and commission a borehole. And when the people in the area also see convoy coming in, expensive vehicles, and it's one thing that we even have to really think about. Yeah. Why will ministers need to use expensive vehicles? To me, like in my former institution, it came up that when you are using a 4x4, if directors are to use 4x4, it's for when they are traveling, so that they could have saloon cars to do their local running and others. And then when you want to travel long distances, you go for a 4x4. But here we give our directors and others all 4x4 when they are driving in the streets of Accra.
Because the streets of Accra may be worse than Kumasi Accra.
Probably too. And all because you are not freeing resources to develop.
Absolutely.
Just yesterday, my stepdad, I understand, nearly had a stroke, and the doctors asked that he's transferred from a TBA hospital to come and take a scan at Koforidua.
Oh, wow.
Just look at that yesterday. And this old man, who is quite weak because of what happened, had to be put in a saloon car, my junior brother's saloon car, because the ambulance, they said, was not available to take him from Scano. Just scan.
Just a scan.
The weak person
Put him
had to
through
be
the
put
stress
in a saloon car and driven from a TBA hospital to Koforidua Central Hospital to come and take a scan. Which country are we?
Oh dear.
So why wouldn't the people leave when they get out of school? Because what's the future do we have? Look at the money we are spending on VAs and all sorts of machineries in government. So what resources are we freeing to equip our hospitals? By the time they returned, it's extra weak crowd. We are even...
Still, but you are not a minister.
Yes.
You have ordered ambulance from Accra.
Oh, of course. Maybe the ambulance which wasn't available, if they heard I was a minister, immediately would have been available.
Immediately. Absolutely.
But the bottom line is, we need to free resources.
Absolutely.
Let's reduce the cost of governance.
Absolutely.
So as for the 57 ministers, if you ask me, I'll sign today or I'll vote for it today. And the fact that we maintain the 275 and we don't add more and creating all sorts of resources only to get nothing out of it. I think we need to work towards that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Probably have any final word on the 5-year 40-35, or if you're done to, I'm okay with that.
I'm done. I think
all right.
we had a beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me start with my thank you with Mary Awolana Ada, who joined us earlier, who's Executive Director, Transparency International of Ghana, for insight she shared. And I also want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Kenneth Obing and Professor Abafo Ajimendi. I think we've had a very good conversation today. My producer was able to give me a 1-hour extension. I mean, I've never had this before. And
we thank him.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've really had a very insightful conversation and the rich experience you bring to bear on really this issue of 5-year presidential term. I think we all agree that whether 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, the underlying factors will have to resolve.
And
if that is not done.
And therefore, the 4 should be maintained.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you here. And many thanks to my everybody who joined us online, whether by radio, by Facebook, social media, YouTube, or you join online. We're very grateful for your time. It's been a Focus on Zed 101.9 FM. My name is Kweku Watakura Jumo. I've been your host today. I think my message... Is there somebody sending a message? I think no. But I mean, we're happy to... We can publish them online. So thank you, everybody, for spending your time with us. We will come your way again next weekend. Professor and Doctor have promised they're going to come back. We should be looking at the other aspects of the CRFC report and looking at how we can make further inputs for the betterment of our governance. So do stay safe, take very good care of yourself. And again, we wish our brothers and sisters of the various Ghana communities, Afi, especially those celebrating their Homo this weekend. I keep saying, stay safe. Let's enjoy our culture to the fullest, and God bless us all.
Zed 101.9 FM.